The 2020 campaign will play a critical role in education across Washington. Voters will vote on Referendum 90, which would require all public schools in the state to have a comprehensive sex ed curriculum for grades K through 12. It was already passed by the state legislature, but so many people were upset. A campaign to stop it collected enough signatures to put this to a vote.
Some parents are worried their kids will learn about sex too soon. Others think it shouldn't be taught at all in schools. Well, we wanted to hear from you, so we asked you what questions you have about the sex ed curriculum. We then put our Mayor Kawash to work to find those answers in our coverage for the people.
The main goal for the state superintendent's office is to make sure all resources are available to all students. Some families may talk about sexual education at home, but that's certainly not the case for everyone. This curriculum varies by grade level with a focus on sexual consent.
Sex ed is already being taught in many schools across Washington. This would make it a requirement to teach comprehensive sex ed. For a lot of schools, there's not much change, and one viewer asked, if there is an option to opt out, why would there be any fight against the education? All parents can, in fact, opt out of the curriculum, but first, they should know what they're opting out of or voting against. There have been countless rumors surfacing on social media saying students will be learning about sex positions. OSPI says students will never be given how-to instruction related to sex, and some people have even talked about an explicit, inappropriate book students will need to read. OSPI says that's not the case. The book was one of several optional books for parents wishing to continue the sex ed conversation at home with their kids. So that begs the question, what will students actually be learning? That depends on the grade level. Grades K through 3 will not learn about sexuality whatsoever. Instead, they'll be educated about relationships and their own development. Students in those grades will be taught about respecting personal boundaries, developing healthy friendships, and how to understand their emotions. Now, grades 4 through 12 will see a more advanced curriculum built around consent and describing things like sexually transmitted diseases and human reproduction. Things kids in Spokane public schools are already learning. And it would also include healthcare and prevention resources for students, as well as bystander training. Now, that would teach kids when to step in if they see violence around them. In the end, the extent of sex ed each grade learns will be up to the district. So how is this different from the curriculum in place right now? To this point, schools are not required to teach about consent. In fact, the only related requirement in place right now is teaching kids about sex offense laws and consequences. Students are also learning about HIV and AIDS prevention starting in 5th grade.
So Spokane Public Schools is one district that may not see much change regardless of how this vote on this referendum goes. They adopted a new sex ed curriculum back in 2018 where students learn about the human body in grades K through 12. Now that info develops as students advance through higher grades. Aaron, Nia?